Okay, I'm here today with Paul and Shelly, who have been in our coaching program for about 6 weeks and are doing it as a couple. They got kids and they're off to some fast results and good habits. So they're just going to share a little bit about their experience and what they've achieved so far. So Paul and Shelly, why don't both of you tell me a little about yourself, who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate the opportunity to have this conversation and share our experience. Yes, Paul and Shelly Vandervelde. Me personally, I'm born and raised local guy in the Madison area, and Shelly and I have been together for about 20 years now, and we have 4 girls. I've been with the YMCA of Dane County for about 26 years, and obviously very familiar with the healthy living and fitness industry through my work here. And but it just saw it as an opportunity to do a little bit something different in terms of my own personal health. And I heard good things about your program, Luke, and that's what led both of us to reach out to you. So it's been, like you mentioned, it's been about 6 weeks for us, and it's been a great experience thus far.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Paul. How about you, Shelly?
I'm Shelly, and I was at home we have 4 kids, mom of 4 girls, ages 10, 12, 13, and 14. So I think for me wanting to sign up for the program, it was I knew we needed to make some healthier changes. I think over COVID, I had slowly put on some weight. And I think even me getting to that age of 46, it was just slowly after 4 kids, a few pounds each time. And then all of a sudden I'm at this point where I kind of needed to do something about it. I was a college Division I basketball player. So I've always been able to work out and stay active that way. But I think I needed some help. I was going to the gym and just kind of wandering around, and I needed a program. I think with so many, I was having decision fatigue because it was a lot of choices I make as a mom of 4 girls and working full time, that I just needed somebody in this department to just trust somebody that knows what they're doing to, give me a program that was all laid out for me, super easy. I go to the gym, I just tap on something and I go right through the program. And it's nice because it combines both the nutrition and the exercise part of it. And as a mom of 4, as 4 girls or with 4 kids, it's good because I feel like I'm the one who does the grocery shopping and just our roles, I do the shopping and the cooking of a lot of the meals. And so I kind of felt like the gatekeeper for our family. And so I knew if I made some healthy choices, it would filter down to everybody else in the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. Obviously setting an example for the family. So Paul, tell us a little bit about you as well. Kind of what kind of made you reach out and want to get some help, and what were your goals kind of heading into it?
Yeah, as Shelly had mentioned, and just prefacing that we were both collegiate athletes, fitness and healthy living has been always a very important part of our life. And it's, has carried over into my livelihood and career. I mentioned working for the YMCA. So I've been staying very active, even 30 years out of college. But finding myself doing, the routine, the repetitive workouts, and really, at the age of 50, kind of plateauing, and lost sight of some of the strength part of the conditioning with weightlifting. And I knew that was part of your program, Luke, and heard, and seeing the testimonials online, through your website, and thought it'd be a great opportunity to reach out to you and, consider it for myself, and then having the conversation with Shelly of doing this as a couple to, seek additional help in terms of, the things that we've set in place in terms of living a healthier lifestyle. And, it's been successful for us thus far. And obviously I don't want to speak for Shelly, but I think she had mentioned it, that both of us have been real pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. So for kind of both of you, like, what are maybe some of like the biggest like unexpected value that you've gotten from the program so far?
For me, it's the strength side. And I guess like to use an example, 6 weeks in and doing, there's some pretty tough workouts and I can appreciate it. And in the midst of it, it's hard, but boy, it sure feels good. I feel really strong afterwards. I mean, you have the soreness, but then, you feel that level of strength. And I guess a good example is water skiing this past weekend at the age of 50, and a year before I was doing the same thing and I just couldn't handle it. I was dying. Now this year, just this past weekend, I had no problem at all. And I could really feel that sense of strength was helping support, me being able to, do a fair amount of water skiing this past weekend. And I just felt like that was a good example. Last year, I just couldn't do it. This year, I have no problem doing it.
Wow, that's so awesome that you noticed that already. How about you, Shelly?
What was the question again? Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, so what's some of like maybe like the biggest value that maybe you didn't even expect to get from the program that you feel like you've gotten so far?
I was just telling one of my daughters that I had this really profound conversation with her, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a plain conversation you're having with one of your kids, and it's just like, that was really profound. Like I was talking about how, like on the weekends, I would have this like little bit of a slip on the weekends, and then I would stay on track with the whole program during the week, but then on the weekends I was kind of struggling because we have 4 kids and they're super active and we're eating out a lot and just trying to figure that out. And I'm one of those people that like to just go at, like when there's an issue or a problem, I like to go at it by myself and figure it out. And like I feel like I'm a pretty self-motivated, determined person, but I'm realizing how much I need people that are experts in the field and just trust the process and just trust the process. And I think for me, it's been good to have like the little motivation, like you guys commenting on like the workouts and like these, just to have somebody with an extra set of eyes and maybe even to that accountability part of somebody else having to take a look at like what I'm doing and what I'm eating. And I think that was kind of one of those things like, oh, I don't need to do one more thing. Like I don't need to add one more thing to my plate, but it's been so beneficial for me. I love that part. And it was unexpected for me because of my personality. I like to go at things alone, that it's just like really good to have that accountability.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that as well. I'm glad to hear that. So, everyone also wants to know like results, like, I know obviously both of you have gotten, it's only been 6 weeks. We've both gotten some decent results. So why don't you share your results as far as, like weight loss, inches lost, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention, I started out at 215. I set a goal for 200. I teetered 206 as the lowest, right around 207 right now. And but yeah, prior to that, it may not seem a lot to some, but prior to that, again, I was working out really, really hard and I was plateaued and I couldn't get at 215. I couldn't get beyond that, and I think a lot of it for me, was a change in style of workout, but also, the important side of the calorie deficit. I just got to quickly say, when you told me let's start out at 2,200, I thought, does that seem a little high? Well, I tell you, the first 2-3 days I was in it, it was really difficult. I was hungry at the end of the night, but my body settled in. And so I had to ask the question, I don't know, was I putting 4,000 or 5,000 calories away a day and not even realizing it? So it's been a real eye opener and it's been really good from that perspective.
Awesome. Happy to hear that, Paul. And Shelly, how about you as far as results you've gotten so far?
I'm down 9 pounds and I think 2.5 inches off my hips and waist, which is great. But I think like more importantly is I just like those clothes, like just, they feel better when I'm putting clothes on. They're not so tight. Like it just, like the clothes and everything are just fitting better for me. So, yeah. And strength, getting stronger. It's fun to see like the different workouts, like the increasing of the weights and stuff like that, and just gaining a lot more strength and like more tone.
Awesome. So happy to hear that both of you down, 9 pounds in 6 weeks. Really, really good progress. And the fact you're feeling better as well. So last question, obviously, you've gotten good results so far. You've had a good experience. Like why, what would you say to someone who's maybe, thinking about joining the program, but it's kind of hesitant, unsure? Like what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining our program?
Well, I would just use myself as an example of the very things I've been saying that, and I think Shelly mentioned it too. Like, I think we both felt like, we're the owner of this. We can, address this on our own. And I think there was a period of time, until for me, I got to the age of 50, and I just was struggling. I couldn't understand why I couldn't get beyond it. And so from one who thought he was very healthy and very fit oriented and fitness oriented, reaching out to you, wasn't so sure at first because I thought I could handle this on my own, but now that I've entered into this and had that level of support and accountability, I would say to those that are on the fence, it's been a huge thing for me, and it's been transformational. So I would encourage anybody to consider it.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that, Paul. How about you, Shelly?
I would say if people are on the fence about it, like for me, I'm 46 with 4 kids. I just kept thinking, I'm like, Paul, like I was probably the one, like, what are we doing, Paul? Like, I don't need to have one more thing on my plate, but it's been an awesome experience of just going in, having everything laid out for you, like everything, like the first part of that first day or whatever, you set us up with all these different apps and stuff like that. It's just taken the stress of all of that off of my plate and onto yours to do that for me. And I'm like, I love that part. And I also think like, you don't have to, like, it's not really drastic changes, like it is some really drastic changes, at least for us, because it's a lifestyle. It's not just exercise and food. It is like a lifestyle change. So it's not like a diet or anything like that. It is something that is very long term. And like I always think like make some of these like diets or whatever, it's like people go on them, but then to like incorporate that into your lifestyle is just it doesn't maintain. And I think that's why it's like it's always been like this yo-yoing thing where I'm like, I feel like this is like a lifestyle change. And I think it's really great because I think like you change a couple degrees in a course of like change direction a couple degrees, like over the course of years, you're going to end up a lot further, in that side of like healthier, and like 10 years down the road, making these like little changes now. And I think for me too, it's like with 4 kids, I want to be there. When they get older, I want to be there, and it needs to happen now. Like now is the time to make these changes, and not when there is some kind of like health crisis or something. It's like, it needs to happen now.
And Luke, real quickly, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention for those that are on the fence too, that, going into it could feel a little bit overwhelming, but I would say that your 2 programs from the fitness end and then also the calorie deficit end is very intuitive and it's just straightforward. Like Shelly said, it's right there for you, and it's just not complicated. So.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
The last thing I want to add is I love the Wednesday like support kind of question and answer period. Like, it's been so good because it's like, as a newbie to the pro, you know, like only 6 weeks into the program, it's been so good. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you guys do this? And everybody like is so supportive of like giving ideas on, well, we do this, you know, like make the meal, like make a meal and make leftovers so that you have like lunch the next day. And I don't have to like log all this stuff. It's just, even the support meetings have been really good about just sharing, throwing different ideas and asking questions with people who are actually in the program doing it. That has been really beneficial too.
Awesome. So happy to hear that for both of you. You've both been doing really well and looking forward to your continued results as well.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Luke.
Luke.